Place. This was in our top 10 of the year, was it not? In fact, I believe it was in the top 3 of American shows.
I genuinely can't remember.
It might have been on number 1.
Indeed, yeah, I think it was.
I don't know.
Me and Matt have not talked about this because Luke's been sort of like saying, "Oh, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this." So
that's exactly
it coincides with the finale as well, which is
So to kind of give you some bearing, where we left the listener was probably halfway through series 2, where
it's where it went on the break, isn't it?
We were still in the bad place that wasn't really that bad, that was not really torture. But they were all playing along with the fact that it was the sort of 3000th reboot of The Good Place, which Michael had been inventing and getting everybody to play along with. Since then, the show has taken quite a dramatic turn, but in a good way.
When we last talked about it, which was the middle of season 2, I made the assertion that it felt like it was running in place, and then like this second half of the season, they've now brought the plot back in and have had them. I don't know if you're going to go through the rest of the plot.
Well, I was, yeah. Well, no. All I was going to say was that we went to the bad place for a couple of episodes. We got a good and a bad Janet episode, which were both very good, and we got bad Janet being good Janet and good Janet being bad Janet versions. We're now kind of in this situation where they went before a judge to plead their case that they should all be allowed in the good place. And we're now in the situation where they've all been returned back to Earth, apparently. Back to, well, we think it's back to Earth. It was the medium place, isn't it? It's kind of...
Right, Luke, fill in the gaps of what Gary didn't say.
Fill in the gaps, bit.
What you should say is that there's no real way of getting them into the good place. The only way they could be is if they all went separately, and they'd have to work out how to get them there.
Get their own medium places.
Yeah, they get their own medium places where things are just bland and everything. So they said there is one way, and it is that we send... Well, they didn't say this explicitly. We send them back and don't kill them off and have them learn from their near-death experiencing. Yeah. But there's a lot of speculation already with this being the good place. Are they really back? It would appear they're back. Maybe they're not back. We saw Ted Danson interact with Kristen Bell. Obviously, she had no idea.
So what happens is that, like, you get the scene where she's going to be mowed down by the chopping baskets, but in this case, or trolley, sorry. In this case, like, Michael sort of pushes her out the way, doesn't he? One would assume that the same thing, we will see the same thing happen to the other characters, all of whom have been put back.
Well, that's the thing.
That's not true, actually, because at the end of this episode, Eleanor goes to Australia to meet
Chidi.
So we won't see his
well, we might do. We might do.
For Matt, who was more the skeptic, has this kind of made you think, yeah, this is now back on track?
Yeah, because they've done something now. They would just seem to be just repeating the same thing over and over again. And, you know, the stuff with Janet and Jason, I didn't like. The stuff with Tahani and Jason, I didn't like. It just felt like we're teaching Michael how to be good, blah, blah, blah. And then halfway through the series, we've now got... Yeah, we're shutting this down. Because did you mention that they're shutting
they have shut down the
experiment, and then like replenishing it, you know, recreating it, and well, in theory, and then they go to the bad place for a bit, and then they end up with the judge, and it just like every episode had something different going for it, and I think it made it that much more intriguing. And again, it is a great commentary on sort of like the aspects of life and character and personality, and it is really cleverly written and well done.
I think returning to making Kristen Bell the focus of the show is probably important as well.
I just find it one of the most innovative comedies I've ever watched, and I just like that it tries something different. I don't think what happened in the final there was a twist at the same level as the final of Series 1, but it was far different to what I was expecting. It gives the show a chance to go in a third direction. They keep rebooting it and it just works every time. I keep thinking, is this the one where it's going to lose me, and it never does. And I think the moment between Kristen Bell and Jamila Jamil, where they sort of become friends and mention it.
Yeah, mates.
It was really genuine and not soppy at all, which is often what I moan about American sitcoms doing. But yeah, it's one of my favourite shows, possibly ever, maybe. I just really think it's something quite special. I really enjoy it.
Unfortunately, we now have not got any more until September when we catch up with America again. But if you haven't seen The Good Place, you can now catch.
If you haven't seen it, we've spoiled it all. So...
Well, no, I still think we've left a lot of series 1 not to be decided, but you can go and watch it on Netflix now. I would, again, all of us, I think, are saying this is a high recommendation.